Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Daily D. And if you haven't subscribed, go down below. And if you've subscribed, now it's time to commit to hitting the notification button so you can get up-to-date information on these videos. Today's topic is the word ego. Now, ego is a self-esteem meter, if you will. So when somebody has a high ego, they usually have high self-esteem or a high we'll call it self-importance. So somebody who would say is somebody you'd probably call in some respects very arrogant, very in some respects confident, but usually ego gets in the way. So I'd call it arrogance, not confidence. Confidence is a really good trait to have in a lot of ways, but egotism really relates to arrogance. Now, when I think about ego, I think about the things that get in my way every day. Like when I think that I know it all, or when I think that I've got the answer, when I think that I'm better than something or someone or some, we'll call it event, experience. You see, that's the ego within us. The ego within us tells us not to do something because we feel like we're better than that. That is called ego. Now, I'm going to share this with you, but I want to talk to you about, an experience that I had in the last year that really reminded me of the ego that we possess. So, I'm a big believer in personal development, if you haven't already figured that out. I love the concept of becoming a better person. Now, I don't believe becoming a better person happens by accident. I believe that happens through discipline. I believe it happens through study. I think it happens through coaching, right? I believe those things. And because I believe them, what I've done is for the last, 10, 12 years, all I've done is learn from people. I have released my ego to the world and said, I don't want to have ego. I want to learn from everyone and anyone. And for the first 6 years in my Liberty Tax business, I really had a huge ego. My ego problem really related to me saying, I know it all. I'm the best at this. I can't fail. I don't need any help. Stop giving me advice. I don't need it. And I would say this pretty often to myself, maybe not out loud, but I would say this to myself all the time when somebody would say, you should try this, or you should think about it this way, or you should do this. And I would say, well, you don't know me. You don't know what I'm going through. You haven't had the same experience as me. Look, I'm experiencing success today. My offices are doing good. My business is doing good. Shut up. Leave me alone. Yeah, that's cool. Whatever. You do what you want. Have you ever said those things? Well, for 6 years, I did. You see, I had a huge ego. I thought I was untouchable. I thought I was, I could walk on water in this business. I did. And I thought that because of my success. And I didn't listen to some people, especially one person in particular who's a mentor today to me. He was a very good mentor, even those first years, without even knowing it. He would share things with me like, hey, David, have you managed to create your budget for the year? Are you monitoring your payroll? Do you understand, how to get new customers? Do you understand how to create retention in these customers? Are you paying attention to your daily metrics? Are you looking at the things that matter? Where are you getting your supplies? Have you thought about building a team? Who are your key players and how are you compensating them? How are these people going to take you to the next level? What is your daily role in your business? See, he would ask me these questions and he would put these things in front of me and I'd be like, yeah, you don't know me. I'm doing good. Leave me alone. I'll budget later. I'll put my finances together later. You know what? Those people are going to follow me as long as I pay them, right? Customers will come in as long as I go out and put out a Statue of Liberty. Like I had this egotism to me that said, hey, I don't need your advice. I'm good, right? You ever been there? Well, for 6 years, I was that guy until finally it came all almost to an end where I realized that I didn't know everything I needed to know, right? One of the things that I think as we get older is you realize that you're too old to know it all. You ever been there? And I knew that. And so what came to fruition is I was put in a position where I was about to fail. I was about to file for bankruptcy. I was about to lose everything I had worked to build over the last 6 years in this particular business I'm in today. And it was one of the most humbling times in my life when I had the ability to eventually just come to my senses and say, hey, I'm open to everything. Teach me. And I would say that to pretty much anyone that I felt had guidance and mentorship. But this one person who had been believing me all this time, but yet I had never listened to, I actually started to listen to. And when I did that, it changed the business. It changed who I was. It made me focus on the right things. It changed everything for me. And I let go of that ego. Today I wouldn't be here if that person wouldn't have believed in me, if I didn't let go of my ego. And ever since then, just to be clear, I've let a lot of people enter my life that I felt could add value to me. And I don't mean that in employment. I mean, I would read a book and I would get information from it and say, well, I don't know this, I need to learn this. And I would get a video from YouTube and I would say, I need to learn this. And I would get a coach and I would say, I need to learn this. And I would ask questions to people who had more experience and I say, I need to learn this. And I would never come to anybody and say, I know it all. Although sometimes I do feel that way when it comes to some of the things, because when I look at somebody, honestly, whenever I look at, if I'm going to surrender my ego, I look at their success and their track record. I see where they've been and what they've done and accomplished. And if I feel like they have done so much more, or they have an experience, or if they have success in an area that I want to have success in, then I let go of my ego and I say, I got to learn. Now, so you do have to have an ego in some respects to protect yourself from allowing others that don't have a really good opinion or don't even have experience or don't have any good things to say to influence your decision making in your mind. So you do have to have an ego some days. But for the most part, when you get into the real world of developing yourself and your business and your activities, you have to lose the ego. Now, I'll give you one more example. So I know this guy who I tried to work with recently, and I gave him some advice. I shared with him what I think he needs to change in his business, just like somebody did with me years ago. And he definitely said, yeah, it's good. It's all good and all these things. And then when it came down to it, he was just like, nah, I don't need that. And, that's okay. I don't blame him. I've been there. But what I do think about a lot is the things he would say to me about where he's at and what he's accomplished, because when I hear those things, it tells me a lot about how well they're going to go or how far they can go in life. And this guy used to tell me all the time, like, you know what? I've gotten this far without any mentorship, without any coaching. I've never been to an event. I don't go to places. I don't have coaches. I don't do any of this. I am just blessed with the ability to figure things out. That's the ego in him. And it is very important for me to see that, because it tells me how far he can go, his limitation. Now, his definition of far and my definition of far probably may be varying, right? Maybe he will be very successful in his own right, but it's capping the ability to be successful. When you believe that you know a lot, when you believe that you don't need to get around other people that are smarter, when you believe you don't need to go to coaching, when you believe you don't need mentorship, when you do believe those things, I'm telling you, you cap your potential because your ego caps it. It's called the ego cap. And you got to get that ego cap off and say, I am willing to travel, to spend money, to invest money. I'm willing to spend my time. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to listen and not speak. I'm willing to read. I'm willing to do the things that it takes to get the information that I don't have to become a better marketer, a better business owner, a better father, a better mother, a better provider, a better investor, a better, whatever it is, I'm willing to do it. Right now, for an example, I'm trying to become a better husband, and I am starting to read more, and I'm starting to follow different people who are really, coaches in that area and can help me become a better communicator and allow myself to understand my wife and understand my own emotions and how we connect and language of love and things of that nature. So I'm using the tools that are out there and I'm saying, I got to learn. I even went to not a marriage retreat, a couples retreat, not because we need counseling. It was more, can we get ourselves in alignment? You see, I let go of my ego. If you had asked me this 3 years ago, if I would have done any of this, probably not. Because I realized that I don't know it all. I realized that I have to get around people who know more than me so that I can become a better person. So what things are holding you back? What are your ego caps? In what areas in your life do you need to improve, but yet you say you know it all, right? If you believe that you're the greatest parent in the world, that's an ego cap. If you believe you're the greatest, wife, husband, significant other, that's an ego cap. If you believe you're the best at sales, that's an ego cap. Why? Because you and I both know you can get better. And because of that, you should be looking to get better if it's an area of your life that needs improvement right away. Obviously, you got to take it in phases. You can't improve everything at one time, but you definitely need to look at how you can improve things. So take off the ego cap. Let's get into how do you get better and how do you grow and how do you stop limiting your potential, because you deserve to have everything you want in this world. But just remember this, everything that you have today is a result of your greatest thinking. So if you have anything, it's because you've used the maximum potential of your mind to get there. So now you have to get outside influence to influence this mind, to think differently, to grow differently, to get more knowledge. So I encourage you to do that. I want to say thank you so much for watching. I wish you health, success, wealth, but most importantly, freedom. Thanks, guys.